If you're apartment hunting and find a place that's way below market value, let me tell you why you should ask about the basement before signing the lease. I'm David, I'm 25 years old, and this story happened in Portland. My girlfriend Sarah and I had just graduated from college and decided to live together for the first time. But rent prices in Portland were extremely high, and both our salaries were at new graduate level. We searched for months. Every place we saw was either too expensive or unlivable, until we found that listing on Craigslist. Spacious one-bedroom apartment downtown, $800 a month, available immediately. Finding an $800 apartment in downtown Portland was impossible. Normal price was at least $1,500, but we were desperate, and I immediately called the landlord. The landlord, Mr. Hendricks, was an older man with a strange tension in his voice. "Yes," he said, "the apartment is available, but there are some rules." "What kind of rules?" I asked. "The basement storage area is completely off limits. You will not go downstairs for any reason. This is very important." It seemed strange, but at that price we couldn't complain. The next day we went to see the apartment. The building was from the 1920s. Brick facade, 5 stories. Our apartment was on the 3rd floor. Mr. Hendricks met us at the door, a man in his 70s with a nervous appearance. When we entered the apartment, we were shocked. It was really beautiful. High ceilings, large windows, hardwood floors. The kitchen was renovated. The bathroom was clean. It looked perfect. "Why is it so cheap?" Sarah asked. Mr. Hendricks hesitated. "The previous tenant had some problems, so I kept the price low." "What kind of problems?" "Nothing important. Just don't forget the basement rule. You will never go downstairs." We signed the contract. Sarah was very excited, and so was I. Finally, we would have our own place. The first week was wonderful. We moved our stuff, decorated the apartment, met the neighbors. Everyone was very friendly, but when we asked about the basement, they all gave strange reactions. The second-floor neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, had said, "We don't go down there, dear." "None of us go down." "Why?" I had asked. "Because there are sounds. Strange sounds." The first strange incident happened in the second week. Around midnight, Sarah was awakened by a noise. "David," she said, shaking me, "there's sound coming from below." I listened. Indeed, from below, directly under our apartment, there were digging sounds. Tick, 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 at regular intervals. "Could be construction," I said. "They might be working at night, but construction work isn't normally done after midnight." The sounds continued until 6 a.m. Then they suddenly stopped. The next day, I called Mr. Hendricks. "Is there construction work in the building?" "No," he said. "No construction. Why do you ask?" "There are digging sounds coming from below." Long silence. "Remember the rule," he finally said. "Don't go to the basement." The third week, the sounds started coming every night, always at the same time, from midnight to 6 a.m. Regular digging sounds. Sarah started having sleep problems. "David, this is too much," she said. "What's happening downstairs?" I was starting to get curious too. One night I gathered courage and decided to check the apartment building's basement door. The basement door was on the 1st floor, next to the main entrance. Heavy metal door with "No access, authorized personnel only" written on it. I tried the door. It was locked, but I could look inside through the keyhole. I could see a dark corridor and a faint light seeping from the distance. I didn't tell Sarah anything that night, but I made a plan. The next day, I went to a locksmith and bought a lockpick set. I learned how to use it from YouTube. The 4th week after Sarah left for work, I managed to open the basement door. With my heart pounding, I went inside. Inside was much bigger than I expected. Long corridors, storage rooms, boiler room. But the strange thing was, some of the corridors extended far beyond the building's boundaries. According to the building blueprints, the basement should only be as big as under the building. But these corridors extended under the street. As I went further, I found that light. At the end of the corridor, there was a small room with a camping lantern burning. The room had camping gear, sleeping bag, food supplies, personal items. Someone lived here. There was a notebook on the table. I opened it and read, Day 127. It found the new tunnel today. I had to block it with concrete, but it's getting stronger. The sound is louder now. Day 134. Tried to leave through the west tunnel, but it followed me. I can hear it breathing in the walls. Day 140. New tenants upstairs. I have to warn them, but I can't. If I go up, it will follow me. The notebook's owner was the previous tenant, James Morrison, the tenant before us, and he was still living here. I heard footsteps behind me. I turned and saw a middle-aged, bearded man, dirty clothes, wild eyes. You're the new tenant, he said. David, right? You're James Morrison, I said. Everyone thinks you moved away. I tried, he said, but it won't let me leave. It follows anyone who discovers the tunnels. What tunnels? James took the lantern and led me deeper into the basement. There was a hole in the stone wall, big enough for a person to pass through. Cold air and a strange smell were coming from inside. What is this? I asked. Old sewer tunnels, James said, from the 1800s. But something lives down there now, something that doesn't want people around. What kind of thing? James looked scared. I don't know what it is, but it's not human, and it's very intelligent. It can mimic voices, sounds, even smells. That's when a sound came from below, deep growling like an animal but different, and then a voice. Sarah's voice. David? David, where are you? I need help. My blood froze. Sarah was at work. This couldn't be her voice. Don't respond, James whispered. It's trying to lure you down. David, please. Something's wrong. Come help me. The voice was very convincing, exactly Sarah's voice. But looking at James's panicked expression, I understood. This wasn't Sarah. How long have you been hiding here? I asked James. 8 months. It took my girlfriend first, Lisa. She went into the tunnels to explore and it got her. Now sometimes I hear her voice calling me. What happened to her? James's eyes filled with tears. I don't know, but sometimes I see her down there, changed, not human anymore. I ran home. Sarah hadn't returned from work yet, but I was worried. That voice was too real. When Sarah came home, she seemed normal. How was your day? She asked as usual. Fine, I said. I didn't tell her about James or the basement, not yet. That night the sounds started again, but this time it was different. Not digging sounds, scratching sounds, as if something was clawing at the walls. Sarah was in deep sleep, but I stayed awake. The sounds were getting louder, and I noticed something else. The sounds were coming from directly under our apartment. I took a flashlight and carefully checked every corner of the apartment. In the living room, behind the TV stand, I noticed a small crack in the floor. Through the crack, I felt airflow. The next day, after Sarah left for work, I moved the TV stand. There was a bigger crack in the floor, almost like a small opening, and a smell was coming. The same weird smell from the tunnel in the basement. This opening was directly connected to the tunnels below. I found James in the basement. There's an opening in my apartment, I said. His face went pale. No, that's bad, very bad. Why? It's making a new entrance into your apartment. It wants to get closer. Closer to what? To Sarah. My heart stopped. What do you mean? It takes women first, I don't know why, but Lisa was first now. I couldn't let this happen. We need to stop it. You can't stop it, said James. You can only hide. But I wasn't going to hide. I had to protect Sarah. That evening I told Sarah everything, about James, the tunnels, that thing. First she didn't believe, then she got scared. We need to move, she said, tonight. It'll follow us, I said. James said it follows people who discover the tunnels. Then what do? We fight. I made a plan with James. If this thing had lived in the tunnels for years, it probably had a main nest somewhere. If we could destroy the nest, maybe we could kill it. I bought supplies, gasoline, matches, rope, flashlights. James reluctantly agreed to help. That night we went down to the basement. Through the hole in the stone wall, We entered the tunnel system. The tunnels were much bigger than expected, a network of passages, some natural caves, some man-made sewers. And everywhere there were bones, animal bones, and other bones. How many people? I asked James. I don't know. It's been hunting for a long time. We went deeper. The air got thicker, the smell worse, and sounds, constant low growling, echoing. We reached a large chamber, a natural cave probably under Portland for centuries. And in the corner there was a nest, a pile of bones, rotting materials, personal belongings from victims. I saw movement inside, a large shape hiding in shadows. It's here, James whispered. The thing stepped into our flashlight beams. I'll never forget that sight. Vaguely humanoid, but wrong proportions. Too tall, maybe 8 feet, arms too long, skin pale, moist with patches of fur. Face, partially human, but jaw extended, full of sharp teeth. Eyes black, reflecting light like an animal. The worst part, around its neck, there was jewelry. A necklace with Sarah's name on it, Sarah's necklace. But Sarah was sleeping at home. How does it have Sarah's necklace? I asked. James looked scared. It can create things, objects, memories. It gets into your mind. The thing stepped closer, and it spoke in Sarah's voice. David, why did you bring strangers here? This is our home now. You're not Sarah, I said. The thing smiled. A horrible sight with those teeth. I can be Sarah. I can be anyone you love. Stay with me, David. Behind it, I saw the movement, other shapes emerging from shadows. Previous victims changed into things like it. But human features were still visible. James grabbed my arm. We need to go, now! I poured gasoline everywhere. I took out matches. The thing roared, a sound like nothing I'd ever heard, a mix of human scream and animal growl. The other creatures started approaching. I lit a match and threw it. Fire spread quickly. The nest caught flame. The creatures shrieked. We ran through the tunnels as fire spread behind us. We made it to the basement, then up to the apartment. Sarah was still sleeping, looking normal. I gently woke her. Sarah, we need to leave. Now. Why? What's wrong? I checked her neck. There was no necklace. Where's your necklace? The one with your name? What necklace? I don't have a necklace like that. I realized the thing had created a fake memory, a fake object. Sarah never owned such a necklace. We packed immediately and moved out that night. James came with us. I couldn't leave him there. The next day, the fire department responded to the basement fire. Electrical problem, they said. Old building, faulty wiring. But that section of the building was completely destroyed. The tunnels collapsed, everything buried. James stays with us now. He's getting therapy, slowly recovering. But he still has nightmares. We all do. 6 months later, we're living in a different part of Portland. More expensive apartment, but worth it for safety. But sometimes, late at night, I hear Sarah talking in her sleep. She says things she shouldn't know. About tunnels, about James, about that thing. And sometimes, I catch her looking at old jewelry boxes, searching for a necklace that never existed. The most disturbing part? Last week, I found a real estate listing. Same building, same apartment, listed as recently renovated basement, additional storage space available. Someone repaired the tunnels, and it's hunting again. If you're apartment hunting in Portland, be careful. If the price is too good to be true, ask about the basement. Ask about previous tenants. And if the landlord says, don't go to the basement, maybe you should ask why. Because some rules exist for good reasons, and some places should stay empty. I learned that lesson almost too late. If you like the story, don't forget to subscribe and give it a like.